Hi everyone, welcome to Lift Big. My name is Ashish. I'm going to be making a series of videos regarding various progression schemes that Eric has had me use over the years to get stronger. The method I'm going to be discussing today is called Quality Volume Training, or QVT. QVT can be used by just about anyone. I don't want to get into that little circular referencing nonsense that trainers often get into, where they say that you're a beginner because you can do this progression scheme, and you can do this progression scheme because you're a beginner, and that's why you can do this progression scheme. So I want to state from the beginning itself that anyone can do QVT. So from my personal experience, QVT is best used when you just hit a personal record and you want to solidify your gains, or if you've been doing heavy singles for a while and you want to increase your workload capacity close to your max. You can also use it when you're coming off lots of volume work and you want to bridge the gap from doing high volume with lighter weight to more maximal end type strength work. What is quality volume training? QVT is about adding quality repetitions in a weight range close to your max. It's about gathering as much volume as possible in the 80% or above weight range while maintaining overall quality. The best way to explain this is to give you all a practical example. So I'm going to put a hypothetical situation out there, all right? And I've got all these numbers written down, and the numbers are going to be flashed on a screen just after I'm done explaining this, because it's hard sometimes to keep up with all this numerical stuff verbally. So I'll take you through workout 1. Let's take squats as the exercise being performed, and the 1 rep max that you have on squats is 300 pounds. So 80% of that is 240 pounds. It's important to note that 80% that I'm using over here is just a guideline. If it's too heavy, you can start lighter, and if it's too light, you can start heavier, but don't get into that end of the spectrum. I'm going to discuss how you can use QVT with higher weights later on. Let's say that 80% is too difficult for you, start lighter. It's totally fine, because each workout is going to build on the other one, and I'm going to get into that later as well. So for workout 1, I would suggest you start with 80%, but if it's too heavy, start lighter. It's totally fine. So go through your warm-ups, do your acclimation sets, and get to 240. If you have 5-pound plates and 2.5-pound plates available to you, please use them. I would also recommend getting some fractional plates, because that only helps later on. So you've got several options over here once you've warmed up to 240, and for all your quality volume training. Quality volume training is going to begin from your 80% weight range and more. You can perform anywhere from 1 to 3 reps for as many sets as possible with that weight before you move on to another weight. So you can do the same weight for the first set for 2 reps, second set for 3 reps, third set for 1 rep, and then you can increase it to to the next weight. That's totally fine. This is very important to keep note, because you're supposed to do 1 to 3 reps for as many sets as possible before you add weight. Alright, so let's start. Let's kick this hypothetical workout off, alright? You got 240 pounds, you do 3 reps. You feel really good, so you add 5 pounds to the bar. You do 245 for 2. Then you jump to 255 because it feels good, and you crank out 3 reps. But you feel sentimental for some reason with 255, so you say, you know what, I want to do 1 more rep at it before I add any more weight. So you take 255 and you do a heavy single. Then you add weight, and you could add like 2.5 pounds or less, or 5 pounds, or whatever you want, but you choose 10 pounds because by this time you are excited about quality volume training. So you take 265 and you do 3 reps. Then you take 270 and you do 1 rep. This is 90% of your max. Please make note. So you do 270 for 1, then you do 275 for 1, and you repeat 275 for 1 because you're now into the 90% weight range. Then you do 285 for 3, and then you top it off with 290 for 1. So you've not worked up to your 1 rep max, but you top it off at 290 for 1. And you stop here because it was 294 was a real grinder, and you don't think you'll be able to add any more weight to the bar. Alright, so let's do some number crunching, okay? This is why I wrote this stuff down. You did a total of 19 reps in the 80% or more weight range. That's a lot of volume. Your average weight was 263 pounds, which is 87.6% of your max. Yeah. So this was workout 1. Next week, when you come back, you can make adjustments to push the bulk of your training volume to a higher weight range. Your average weight, like I said, was 263 pounds, which is 88% of your 1 rep max. Next week, you have to make sure, and I'm not trying to be anal about numbers over here, So you got to make sure next week that the bulk of your workout is over 263 pounds. So you essentially want to turn those singles at 270 and 275 into doubles and triples, or you want to add more singles and cut down on the reps that you did with the lighter weights. Initially, because you're new, I would recommend you that you start at 80%. But as you gain experience, you'll be able to regulate the starting weight on your own. That is why I said that anyone can do this. So let's say you've done QVT a couple of times, you've run it a couple of times. You want to be adventurous. You can start at 90% of your max. You can start at 90% and start working up to your 1 rep max using just singles. And then the following week you can come in, add in some doubles or some triples. And all this will mean that you have massively increased your work capacity, because now your workload is so close to your max and you're dominating it on a volume basis as well. A couple of points that I want to mention, for which I'm going to be paraphrasing Eric's words, because it will help you understand that this is better in terms of practical explanation. QVT is not just about building up to a heavy weight. It's not the end weight that's going to count. Oh, I worked up to 290, which is 95% of my max or whatever it may be. It's not about that. You do build up to the heaviest weight you can manage with good form, but that is not the goal. The goal is to do a lot of volume in the 85% to 100% of your max weight range. Now, I know using these numbers, it can become a little confusing because we are not really going by percentages when we're bumping up the weights, right? So these numbers are projected numbers from your guesstimated max. So what I'm really saying is that we can do as much volume as possible in the strength training range, and that is the goal. In other words, it's about going heavy. When I say quality, quality doesn't mean your form has to be spick and span. It's not about your quality in that sense. Quality over here means that the weight range is as close to your 1 rep max as possible. It's all about performance, and it's about intensity. Intensity of your as a percentage of your 1 rep max. See, because for strength training purposes, a bunch of volume with light ass weights is not quality. It's just volume. So smaller increments over here are good. That's why I said that if you've got fractional plates, if you've got those 2.5 pound plates, bring them out. You're going to need them, because as the workouts progress, as you go in week after week after week, you're going to be bumping the weight range up a little bit at a time. And if you can bump it up with a smaller jump, that means you're going to last longer. And that means you're going to be working with that maximum length stuff successfully for a longer time. The hardest thing to get in QVT is when to move on, what rep range to use, what reps to use or not use, and how much volume we're going for. Well, there is no set volume. When you dial it in as well as you can, the volume will always be high relative to this kind of weight range. Compare it to some typical strength training workouts where you're using only 70 to 80% of your max. That's your median intensity, and you're getting 24 to 30 reps. With QVT, if you get 18 to 24 reps in the 80% or above weight range, that's a lot of volume. It's all about median intensity, which is what I said, that your weight range was 263, so your median intensity was 88%. Next week you want to bump it up a little bit. That is why this is very challenging, because it's your body adapting to not just how heavy the last set is, it's about adapting to the median intensity overall. It's important to understand why this works the way it does and how it does what it does. I've mentioned a bunch of scenarios earlier where QVT can be used. Another situation in which QVT is great is when you're coming back to a lift after detraining or maintaining it. In fact, it can help you recover your previous strength levels much faster than otherwise is done. Why is that? It's because you're spending the bulk of your time training in the weight range and in the rep range to recover that ability that you want. I'm going to give you all an anecdotal example. I spent the entire 2013, the whole year, recovering from a lower back injury. To give you all a little bit of background on myself, for those of you who don't follow my other lifting channel, I was doing Krav Maga and maximal end strength deadlifts at the same time. So I felt my lower back becoming more and more tight. And you can imagine this happening, right? You're doing a bunch of kicks and stuff with Krav Maga, you're doing heavy deadlifts, your lower back can get a little tight. But mine got very tight, and it was very uncomfortable. So I decided to foam roll my lower back. I hurt my lower back while repeatedly foam rolling it. It led to excruciating pain, and I've been recovering in 2013 using QVT for almost the whole year. I've been using very, very tiny increments, and I've been building up a lot of volume. It's like gathering steam, you know. I've been building up a lot of volume, a lot of wind in my sails to push me forwards. And it's worked so well that I'm now doing reps and volume work in the 475 pound weight range when my max is 515. I haven't gotten to my max, but I'm able to crank out a lot of reps with 475 over multiple sets, only using QVT. So as you can see, QVT can be used by just about anyone, and you should repeat it 2 to 3 times in any case. The quality is self-adjusting, and you're going for good performance, not just the weight on the bar. See, that's why I said the first session you can start off with lighter. 80% is just a guideline. If you start with something lighter, it's fine because you're going to build on it. Each workout is going to build on the previous one. You could start off really light and just keep building on it, and that's exactly what we're going for. That is why anyone can do this workout. You're dialing your workout in to stand to where you are standing as of right now. You're building off where you are right now, not about some guesstimated or projected max. You're doing everything based on your capacity and your ability right now. That's why QVT is so fantastic. Now, one of the things that I know people criticize QVT about is the amount of time that this is going to take. Let's be practical over here. You've done 10 to 15, not 10 to 15, but let's say 10 to 12 sets in this higher weight range. Even if it's 15, it doesn't matter. You're doing a bunch of sets. If you take 6 to 7 minutes of break time, and personally I think with the heavier weights you need more rest, but whatever. You factor in your rest periods, your actual time spent lifting the weights, the warm-ups and everything. You can understand how you're spending a good 2 hours on just one lift. In this case, it's squats. So people are going to say that, oh my god, I can't spend 2 hours on just squats. I got a whole bunch of other exercises to do. I got 6-7 exercises to do after that. Well, the truth is, I can't sugarcoat this for you. So the truth is that you will have to cut down on other exercises and training volume. You'll have to plan your training time better because it never gets easier as you get stronger. Workouts don't become shorter, they become longer. So if you want to get good at hanging with big boy weights and you have the drive to become stronger, you'll do what it takes. And in this case, it is cutting down on other frivolous nonsense. So if you've got leg curls, leg press, you don't need to do all of that after squats. You're spending the bulk of your training around the lift that you want to get good at, that you want to get strong at. You're dedicating yourself to this lift, and this workout is dedicated for that. So if you've got a bunch of other exercises that you have to do, shift them to another day, or just drop them for the time being. It's fine. Your strength will still remain. Well, this is it for QVT. I have nothing else to say about QVT unless you guys got questions for it, and I really encourage that. But there are a few things that I want to mention about training methods and progression schemes. You have all of them all over the internet. And the most important thing to remember about all of them is that all of these strength training methods and progression schemes, they're just tools. They're tools to help you get stronger. Don't get attached to them. Don't become a die-hard fan of any of these things. Use them to make you stronger because that's exactly what they're meant for. This is not some underground strength training routine or some mysterious secret, QVT. It's just a better, more effective and efficient way of attacking a weight range very close to your 1 rep max and dominating it. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to my channel and share this video. And if you got a couple of questions or any questions about quality volume training, please let me know. Ask away. I'm going to be coming up with a whole bunch of videos on progression schemes in the distant future, in the near future. So please stay tuned. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.